Hey guys, welcome to another episode of El Jefe Shop Shop. Last week we put one side of the floor in. This week we're going to do the other side of the floor. Fancy that. Alright, so it's a new episode. It is the previous week. I haven't actually filmed last week's episode yet, but I already did too much rambling in that episode. So Stout's out and ready to be picked up. I've packed a lot of stuff onto it. We moved the Crown into this shed here, and we got the Dodge in here with the Model A. So the plan is in the next couple of weeks to move the 25, which is right behind this roller door, into this shed as well, right up the back. And then there'll be the Sior, the Crown, and the 25 in there. When the wagon's finished, it can go in the white box. And then we've only got the toy waste in this shed. So the idea is the toy waste will be the next project after the wagon, and then probably M's car, and then I think we'll get into the truck. So that's where I'm at. But moved a bunch of stuff around. Everything fits, and I got a whole lot more room. So that's going on Saturday. I'll put it in just now. Alright, so I've just finished off that side. If you watched last week, you would have seen it. If not, now we're onto this side. So this side's a bit more painful because there is this strip to add in, but the actual hole itself is a lot smaller. So what I'm going to do now is just jump in, put the other side of the floor in, get the texture out and cut it to size. And then when I come back another day, I will patch this in and then put the floor in on top. So first things first, I'll take that clamp off, get the new floor stuck in here, and then trim it to size. Alright, I've got the rough shape marked out. I'm going to trim it again like I did last time, so trim it a little bit and then mark it again, trim it a little bit, mark it again until we get nice and close to that edge. I don't want to take too much off and then have to put it back on because that is a pain in the bum. So I'm going to cut this out and I'll see you in a second. Alright, I got that cut out. Now I'm going to chuck it in the car. I'll get Emily to push down on it again and then I'll trace the bottom side and then trim it again. So Emily's just pushed down on the back of the panel again, drawn on it with the texter. So I need to do another line about 10 mil around this one, and then I'll cut it out again. And then I've got to make that patch for the floor before this goes in. Alright, so unfortunately my camera died while I was doing that, but what you saw me do was welding in this plate here. There's also a little plate here that I've welded in. I then ground that back just enough to get the floor in, gave it a coat of paint, and then welded the floor in. So you would have seen that in the last episode anyway, but now this side's done. So same on left as on right, and I'm just going to go over this with a wire brush real quick and then give it a coat of primer and call it done for now. I will need to dress the bottom, and I will need to probably dress the top a little bit and just clean it up and then do all the sealing and stuff like that. So these are done. Onto the firewall. Alright, so giving the inside a good and proper vacuum for the first time ever. In this rail alone, I found a cigarette lighter, a box of matches, a spar of soap, a socket, and a golf ball. So no wonder this car always had a bit of a rattle. Note to self, don't put anything on the back seat. Alright, so now the idea, I'll take all the wiring, everything out, is to get in here and fix up these few holes that you can see daylight coming through. So there's one here that needs to be fixed up. You can't even see that one from the other side. You'd cut that out and redo it, and cut that out and redo it, and then need to seal that one, those two, and those two up there. And then on the other side we've got two wiring holes that I'd like to fill up as well, and then one here as well. So there's a lot to do, a lot to weld up. I keep thinking it's just these two, but there's actually quite a lot of spots. And then in the engine bay itself there is one here, that's the ones you can see from the other side, So that's all the stuff you can see from the other side. There's one here that I need to fill up, and there's your 2 wiring holes that I need to fill up. So I'm going to run the wiring through here where I should have done it to start with. So seal these 2 and run the wiring through here. So there's a lot to do, but I just got to do one at a time and start somewhere. Okay, so new day, onto the firewall. Yesterday I just gave a quick scrub of the areas I want to fix up. So this is the main concern, which is all I keep thinking about, but there is actually a bunch of little spots as well. So the idea is to weld all these holes up, and then I'll jump into that once I've got a bit more confidence. So another thing I want to do is these 2 wiring holes. So there is 2. So weld both of those up, and then just move on one by one. So let's get stuck into it. Alright, I haven't been able to film a whole lot lately, but I've got a few holes filled up in the firewall. There's one here that has been half filled, there's one up there that's been half filled, and another one that's glaring. Then I need to cut these out and finish those up. But I've been working flat out, so I haven't had a lot of time. The loom holes are all sealed up. I've got a few of the firewall holes sealed up. None of them are ground back and ready to go, they're just welded and given a quick coat of paint so they didn't rust. So the plan today is to grind all that stuff back and also fill up these 3 holes here. And that'll probably do us for this episode. We're supposed to be having a visitor shortly, so we'll probably jump into that right now. Alright, so hopefully you enjoyed seeing Josh's little TE27. I'm going to get back into the wagon now, but I'll show you that shortly. Okay, so I thought I was getting somewhere. Got these nice and smooth. Got these ones reasonable. I'm not super happy with them, but I'm going to wait for my mate to come and look at these and the whole engine bay to tell me how to address those a little bit nicer. Then I've also smoothed off the 2 loom holes that you can't really see. Again, I need my mate to look at those. And then there was a slight little bubble of rust here, and I've had to dig it right back. So I'm reasonably confident I got most of it. There's 2 layers here, so this whole piece is probably going to be affected at some point. But short of cutting it all out all the way around, I don't know, because it goes this whole piece all the way around to here. So I just figure I'll tackle the bit that's bad and get in there with rust converter, which I've done, and then just put some weld through primer on. So I just made the piece to go in here. I just painted it, it's waiting for it to dry. And I'll weld all that around the end, smooth it all off, and then probably get in the back here if I can and weld that as well. So a bit of a pain, but now's the time to do it. Then we got this one smoothed off. Again, need to have a look at that one. And I think what I'll probably do is get that one finished, and then I need to either get rid of all the other bits and pieces in the engine bay, the cross member and the brakes and stuff, or I need to jump into this, one of the 2, because they both need to happen. Maybe it would be easier to do the repair in here if this was gone, so I've got a bit more room, or maybe it's better for that to sit there so I've got somewhere to put my kneel against or whatever. So we'll deal with that in a minute. Jump onto this and get this one done first. Alright, so this has gone horribly. I fixed this repair and then got almost finished with it and it blew through again. So pretty much, as far as I know, all the way around here is probably all gone. So I don't think I can do that. I'm really not sure without cutting it all out, and then I don't know how to make the piece again, so it's sort of a bit above me. I might leave that alone, I think. So that's probably it for this week. Thanks for watching. See you next week.